Just say, we win. We win. We are winning. Even now. Let's give our house band some love. Mary Ann Lewis, let's give her some love and appreciation. Dion Mial and Reverend Leon Campbell. They set the vibrational tone for us to feel our way into ourselves, to continue to be keenly aware that there's a presence and a power and a love called by millions of names, but we're here as a spiritual community to celebrate this community, celebrate this presence, and to call it forth as the activity of our awareness. In other words, we don't come to a spiritual community to ask God for a blessing. We come to a spiritual community to rise in gratitude that we may be receptive to the blessing that's always being given. For the presence of God is the same yesterday, today, and forever, never changes up on itself, never compromises, contradicts, or sabotages itself. It is what it is always. So we don't have to beg or plead. We have to lift our awareness so there's a vibrational match of receptivity to the eternal blessings of love and peace and joy and abundance and all that God is to flow through and as us. Therefore, when we hear this theme of the month, which is leap, L-E-A-P, live appreciating the eternal presence. Oh, that's pretty good. Wait a minute. Is that what it is? Live enthusiastically appreciating presence. Okay, I like that. I'm listening. So we're leaping with intention because the life we want to live already exists. We have heard over and over again, but I want you to hear it in a way that we live, move, and have our beingness in a field of infinite possibilities. Or we could say we live, move, and have our beingness in the presence of God. That is the exact same thing. Or we could hear Yeshua ben Joseph, otherwise known as Jesus the Christ, say in substance, in my Father's house are many mansions. So there are many potential and possibilities all around us in this particular moment. And we are to leap, we are to live enthusiastically, appreciating this presence, leaping into the possibility that we wish to experience because it already exists. Say right now, it already exists. It already exists. The good that I am seeking already exists. The life that I am desiring to live already exists. So with intention, we're leaping into this dynamic. Now, let's put a pin on that. Last week, we talked a little bit about the power of being alone, that when one is alone, that is the moment to cultivate a deep sense of self-love and appreciation within oneself, to not feel lonely, but to feel that you've been given an opportunity to introspect, to go within so that you absolutely bump into the source of all creation within your very soul, so that you begin to love this presence as yourself, so that you're not sabotaging yourself by projecting a lack of self-love that become obstacles and hindrances in life, so that our alone time is not a time to feel lonely. It is a time to dive through the morass of loneliness and to feel that alone means all one. The power and the presence of the love of God is here. And then when we are with company, as I indicated a little bit last week, we want to be sure that our company is high and holy, not religious. High and holy, meaning visionary conversation, possibilities, potential. There's an encouragement. There's a dynamic of being with high and holy people, which is why you come to, whether you're online or in person, why you come to a spiritual community, so that your vibrational frequency is constantly being raised. And then through spiritual practice, that insight and those revelations that you have caught in consciousness become stabilized and become your new normal. So that the normal cyclical way by which you live in your life, you keep up-leveling it, so your new norm keeps rising. You're leaping into, with intention, by the way, into the great possibility that already exists. So then when you hear the topic of the day, and I'm trying to hear it right now myself. Somebody say what it is.
Choose or lose,
Oh, I like that. Okay, I can work with that. Choose or lose being the topic, that with every expanded moment of consciousness, when you pray, when you meditate, when you have an insight, your consciousness expands and you move higher and higher into what is called choiceability. You're able to choose rather than react. You are to choose or lose the life you want to live. What does that mean? If you do not choose it, you will fall prey to the morass of race consciousness, the collective belief of the human society that oftentimes is living in a sense of scarcity, lack, limitation, separation, not enoughness. All of those things come from a sense of separation that blasts out into the world, and people, if they're not choosing moment by moment the life that they want to live, they will lose their footing in the insight that they may have received and fall prey to the worldly point of view. Not you, not here, not now. You will choose the life you want to live because, as I've already indicated, I put a pin on it. We're taking the pin out now because there's already a life in the field of infinite potential that already exists, but you have to choose it. You have to develop a spiritual practice in which you stop and you absolutely see the life, mainly qualities, see the life you wish to live. It's already existing in the field of infinite potential, and you begin to choose it. You begin to say to yourself something like, I am choosing the timeline of the life in which I am fulfilled, filled full with divine love, infinite peace, prosperity, joy, health, and happiness. I am living that life right now. So you're choosing with dynamic feeling that possibility that's already there, but that possibility must be chosen. Remember the observer effect combined with the quantum reality that we're in a field of infinite potential, that every possibility exists, but it has to be observed and chosen before it comes into expression. Everything already exists, but you have to choose it. Therefore, I am saying, choose the life you want to live, pulling yourself away from the world of appearances, the world of facts and figures and circumstances and situations and people and places and things, and choose with feeling the life you want to live, and don't wait. Why do I say that? There are two kinds of waiting. Of course, there's the waiting that we've heard over the years, wait upon the Lord. That's one kind of waiting, but waiting upon the Lord means that you're waiting in that sense of aloneness, where you're waiting in the feeling tone that it's already done. That's a good kind of waiting. But the other kind of waiting that people have a tendency to live in is, I am waiting to be happy when something happens. I'm waiting to be happy and joyful and fulfilled in my life when my ducks are in a row. Your ducks are never going to be in a row permanently. One's always going to be an outlier, and the mom's going to have to go get the duck. So that's the second kind of waiting that we are releasing ourselves from. Don't wait until something happens in the external world or with another person or a circumstance, until the joy, the peace, the feeling tone of prosperity is there. Choose or lose, and don't wait. In other words, it is not a misuse of the law to choose and to feel that it's already happening. It is the right use of the law. And you are developing a spiritual muscle, training your mind to absolutely keep choosing where you want to live, here and now, not waiting. We're not waiting until something good happens and then we're joyful. No, you can right now, in this moment, begin to feel a deep sense of gratitude, thanksgiving, dynamic appreciation. You can begin to feel it right now. You begin to feel an infinite amount of peace and prosperity. You can begin to feel it right now. And then you stabilize it. Now, what are we doing there? In that precise moment, as I was kind of mentioning in the way of meditation service today, you are falling in love with the unknown infinite potential more than you are in love with your past. More than you are in love with your past. If, in fact, you just check out your conversations throughout the course of the day, are you always talking about your past? Whether it is a badge of something you overcame or whether it's some trauma you had, something, because that personality construct of you emerged from time, environment, experience, hereditary patterns, but there is an eternal you that emerged from the eternal. The personality construct is ruminating in the past and projecting it into the present and into the future. When you enter into spiritual practice, you are choosing a life. And you are falling in love with the unknown infinite potential. You're more in love with that than you are with your past. Now, the wailing and gnashing of teeth that comes up with that is that the egoic perception of the personality begins to lose control, and there becomes an utter yielding of possibility in your life, an utter yielding of coming into another world, another yielding and coming into another world of infinite potential. I keep saying this, you got to catch this now. It already exists. This field of infinite potential, it already exists, but you have to observe it. You have to choose it. And then it becomes visible to you. And after a while, the distractions of the world disappear because all you see is what you love. And what you love is this unknown future of love and peace and joy and wisdom and harmony and health and dynamic abundance. That's all you see. It's like the little boy who was picking strawberries. And he was in a field of weeds and strawberries, and a young man passed him by and saw the boy picking the strawberries and putting them in the basket. And the man says, how do you do this? There's so many weeds here. How do you tell the difference between the weeds and strawberries? He said, all I see is strawberries. What happens is when you fall in love with the life you really want to live, after a while, that's all you'll see. And you'll fall in love with what the personality will call the unknown. It's unknown to the personality. But understand this. I'll start off by saying it this way, and then I'll say it another way. You have what I call a super soul life. Super soulful life. That sometimes it's called the higher self. Sometimes it's called Christ's mind. It's you. It's living a beautiful life. All of its needs are met. It's full to overflowing with intelligence and wisdom, transformational knowledge. And what you are doing is allowing your super soul self to have full sway over to your life. Do you know that's what surrender is? Surrender is not surrendering to an external God. As Emerson reminds us, the innermost God and the outermost God is the same God. So you are surrendering, yielding to your super soulful self. You're giving you permission for all that you are to come forward. That is surrendering. Oftentimes, particularly in the Western world, and there is a sense of separation between the presence of God. Even the best metaphysicians will find themselves praying and then kind of longing out there for God, kind of creating a sense of separation. I hope God answers my prayer. I hope God comes and does something. I hope God steps down and helps me out, or something along that way. But they've created a sense of separation from the presence. Closer than your breathing, nearer than your hands and feet, God is your life. And you have an identity, a unique, unrepeatable identity in the heart mind of the infinite. That's your super soul self. So you are saying in substance, I am letting the real me emerge. I'm surrendering to the real me. I'm surrendering. Now, when you combine all of this together, you're surrounded by a field of infinite potential. Every seeming possibility exists in this quantum field of infinite potential. And every mansion in the Father, Mother, God's house, it's all there. When you choose it with feeling, with intention, you choose it. You begin to see it. You begin to observe it. You begin to activate what's already there. Immature waiting is not creating. Immature waiting is not creating. Creation is always happening, but creativity is coming when you touch that possibility that's already existing and you feel your way into it. It's already existing. Sometimes when I'm laying in the bed in the morning, I will scan my body from the bottom of my feet to the top of my head. I'll bless my organs. I'll bless the body temple. I'll bless the day ahead. And then I will consciously choose. I am living in the vibrational eternal timeline of being totally fulfilled, totally healthy, peaceful, all needs met. And then I add some things about the people that are around me in prayer, and I add some things about the Agape, the National Spiritual Center, having all of its needs met. But I merge myself into living in that now. I'm not saying when such and such happens, this is going to happen. I stand in the feeling tone of it's happening now. What does that do? When you do that for yourself, the thoughts that will begin to come into your mind will be thoughts from your super soul self, God. What will begin to happen? Your conversations will begin to mimic those thoughts. What will happen then? Your actions will be the one of the individual that's gotten over already. You follow what I'm saying? Your actions and your behavior will replicate the thought and the conversation of it's already done. You will be compelled into right action by your super soul self that you are united with and are no longer pushing it way out there, and you are not waiting for something to happen for you to be happy. You are walking in the happiness. You're walking in the joy, and I'm telling you, this is a practice. This is not one and done. This is a spiritual muscle, because when in fact the past begins to come up, the unhealed, wounded past begins to come up, and there are things in the world that trigger that in a way, it will try to overtake your life, your emotional body, your mental body, and you're going to have a level of practice to withstand the onslaught of the egoic perception. And ultimately, as you're holding that feeling tone of what you have chosen and falling in love with this beautiful life that already exists, your surface mind, your personality may want to call it the future, you're falling in love with it. The transmutation of the old thought form emanating from the old personality will begin to dissolve and transmute itself into a higher frequency. In other words, your old personality self, you're not going to take that with you into heaven. You're not going to take that with you into the heaven consciousness. You're not going to take that with you into the demonstration of the good that's trying to happen in your life. This is going to change. You're going to change. Every prayer that you utter is a willingness to be different. Every prayer that you utter is not to change other people, unless you're trying to see the Christ in them. Every prayer you utter, you're giving yourself, you're becoming willing to be different, to see different. I'm praying that I want to be different. I want to change. I want to transform. I want to unfold to reflect and reveal the glory of my super soul self on earth as it is in the highest heaven. I'm not praying for something out there to change. I'm praying for me to change. You see, as we all enter into that dynamic, clear seeing begins to happen. You begin to see differently. So now hear the whole thing put together. We're leaping with intention. You've heard me say this over the years, that so many people have an intention deficit disorder. They wake up with no intention. They just wake up to see what's going to happen today, and then they're going to react to what's happening, and they hope things are going to turn out. But they have no intention. They don't have an intention to be happy. They have an intention to be grateful. They don't have an intention to be successful, to be prosperous. There's no intention there. They're intentionally deficit. You see? So we are leaping with intention because the life we desire, it exists already in the field of infinite possibilities. You see? And today we're saying, choose it. Choose it. Don't wait. Make a choice. Don't wait until something out there changes for you to feel prosperous, for you to feel whole. Don't wait. Choose now. Come into the feeling tone. And this is how you can assist your parasympathetic system to come into balance. If you want to use your past, you use it this way. You think about the moments in your past where there was a moment of wow, there was a moment of some accomplishment, something that was difficult, but you got through it. You had a graduation, you received some, you received a promotion. There was a baby born in your family, but there was a moment in which, when this happened, maybe it was something that was difficult, but you got through it, and when you got through it, you were better for it. You take that and you feel into the feeling tone of that blessing, that healing, that accomplishment. You feel into it. And you sit with, you meditate with it. And then you let go of the past experience, but you keep the feeling of it. You following me? Keep the feeling of it. Okay? Now, when you keep the feeling of it right there, your parasympathetic system moves from survival. And oh my God, how things are going to work out. Oh my God, they've worked out already. Oh my God. It moves into, whew, everything's all right. Everything's all right. That's where you demonstrate from. That's where you pray from. That's now you choose the life you want to live. It already exists. You choose it. Don't wait. You feel now from your parasympathetic system where all is well. You live in that. Now this is practice. I promise you, if you take this on a regular basis, your life experience will change. Your perception will change. Your perception produces your experience. Your experience will change. It will seem like magic, but it's not magic. It's law, you see. And then, guess what? Two or more gathered in that vibration, mountains get moved. We had a wonderful board retreat recently, and we entered into some very high states of what we called in the upper room consciousness. It was potent, it was powerful, you see. We saw some things. You get with your prayer partners, two or more gathered. You start to hold that space and hold each other accountable for staying there. Manifestation occurs. So we're talking community, two or more gathered, and we're talking you. When the conscious mind and the subconscious mind become one, superconscious mind takes over. Two or more gathered. This is law. This is law. So you don't have to walk around hoping. Hoping is a beginning. It's sweet. It's wonderful. I hope something good happens. It's sweet. It's okay. It's sweet. In the Science of Mind and Spirit textbook, Ernest Holmes says hope is a subtle illusion. I'm just saying what he said, okay? But it's a sweet beginning. But in practice, hope becomes faith. And then faith becomes conviction. And you walk and talk differently. You're okay by yourself, falling into a deep sense of self-love and appreciation, and then you're with other individuals. And sometimes individuals that you can have visionary conversations, and sometimes you can sit with individuals and not say nothing. Just revel in the silence of being together. Whoa. You know, it's like when Miles Davis and Charlie Parker were going through Europe. They were walking for miles just in complete silence. Then Miles Davis looked up at Charlie Parker and said, that about says it all, doesn't it? Sometimes you can just be with people and it's just reveling. Just reveling in the peace and the love. You don't have to jump in and say anything because it's all being said and you're both listening, you see. So listen. We are leaping We are living enthusiastically, appreciating the presence. We're leaping with intention. And we're breaking down the boundaries of separation in our own mind because we're saying the life we want to live, it's already existing in the field of infinite possibilities. Now today, we're actually choosing the possibility. We're choosing it, feeling it. We're not waiting for our happiness quotient to go up when something happens. We are allowing our happiness and joy quotient to go up so something can happen from that. That's the law. That's the law. People have said over the years, what are the advanced teachings of metaphysics? I would say, beginning is theory, advanced is practice. Okay. Beginning is hypothesis and theories, and you can read all the books and have a belief system about it. But the advance is those who practice, which is why we honored and loved those that graduated last week, because they put themselves through a spiritual cauldron of transformation and actually practiced these principles and saw the person who started the class was not the same individual that ended the class. Same thing will be happening soon with the Power of Prayer class. Even if you've taken something like that before from us, you take that class, your life will be different. You won't be hoping everything gets better in the future. You'll learn when you really pray from the answer. Your life will change. Now that was from Spirit. I didn't mean to sneak a commercial in there, but it was good. Take a holy breath with me for a moment. Release. As we move into a prayerful moment, let's do it this way. See yourself. Just imagine you're just laying flat on your couch, on your bed, or on your futon, on your yoga mat, on the floor. Just see yourself laying there. And start from the bottom of your feet and just bless every aspect of your body temple, from the bottom of your feet through the ankles and the shins and the calves and the knees and the thighs and the hamstrings and pelvic area, the small of the back, the buttock, the spinal column, the stomach, the intestines, the liver, the heart, the lungs, the spleen, all of the internal organs up through your neck and the esophagus and the throat and the face and the teeth, the dental cavity, the eyes, the nose, the brains, the ears, the hands, the arms. Just shine the light of God on it all and just relax into that. Now think of any moment in your life where you were faced with a challenge, but either incrementally or suddenly you got through it. You transcended it. You won. You made a difference. It's like, I didn't know how I was going to get out of that, but oh my God, I did. I graduated. Fill in the blanks. My body healed itself. Fill in the blanks. Oh, there was such great forgiveness between us. Whatever it was. Now let your bodies feel that feeling tone. Now from this feeling tone, in this field of infinite potential, say out loud with me, I am choosing the timeline. Say it out loud. Where I am totally fulfilled, totally healthy, prosperous, and dynamically successful. All of my needs are met. So you're choosing and it already exists. So you're choosing this right now. Choose it. Feel right this moment that it's already happening. And there's some glad surprises, meaning beyond what you can even visualize. In this realm of the unknown, as you're choosing this life, in the realm of the unknown, there's so much that the personality doesn't even know that is trying to invade your life, trying to take over. Your super soul self is trying to come forward. You're surrendering to it. Oh, this is our beginning of prayer right now. And so it is from this awareness that you get to leap into gratitude. You get to leap into thanksgiving. You get to leap into appreciation. You get to leap into dynamic graciousness for the Spirit of the living one, the divine presence that's revealing itself as our super soul self. It's always beaming and radiating and shining and giving and blessing. But have we grown and gracious enough to receive it? Oh, come on. We rise up in this awareness. And it is from this awareness that I have the privilege, and I always see it as a privilege. Even by right of consciousness, I have the privilege to speak the word for each and every one of us today. All of the beings here in the sanctuary, all of the hundreds and thousands of beings that are tuning in to this sacred service, I get to speak the word. This word and the vibration of this word is timeless. It doesn't run out. I speak it for each of us right now, knowing that where we are, the presence of God is. As the fullness of life is cascading from what is called no-thingness to become the somethingness of our existence. That every organ, action, function of our being is made every whit whole, for the divine wholeness about us already exists. And now we are surrendering to it, and is being revealed through the mental body, the emotional body, the physical body. All of the subtle bodies are coming under the aegis of the celestial body. I command the revelation of wholeness and well-being to reveal itself. All needs met. We're not waiting. We're feeling it right now. We feel every moment in our life where all of our needs were met, and we bring that feeling tone into this prayer right now. I speak the word that each and every one of us are fulfilling the absolute feeling tone of harmonizing prosperity. All of our needs being met with a grace, a dignity, a power. Oh, not consumerism, not gross materialism, but true abundance. We live in a field of abundance, and we get to represent abundance, and it's happening now. When? Right now. We're living in it now. We're living in it now. Our relations are shot through with eternity, love and peace and deliberate compassion and kindness. It's happening now. We're feeling it. Oh, choose it. Choose it right now. Choose ye this day whom you shall serve, what you shall serve, God or mammon, God or separation, God or fear. Choose it. Choose it right now. Choice is a revelation of expanded consciousness. It's the function of expanded consciousness. Your consciousness has expanded. Choose it right now. And then we just feel I'll invite you to help them feel it. Just help them feel it. I'll be right back with our prayer list. Feel it.
If the path is clear and there's nothing to fear, all I must do is walk. If the way is straight and I've a key to the gate, all I must do is walk. If I have all I need to sustain and feed me, I'm carried each step of the way. Oh yes, then there's no need to wait, no, to wonder or talk. All I have to do is walk. I'm gonna choose, yes, choose to walk into the dreams. Yes, hey.
Everybody say, walk. Walk. All we have to do is walk. We have to willingly appreciate loving kindness.